What is up, guys? So today I want to talk about one of my most asked questions: should I join the military? I'm going to do this in a pros and cons list because I figure that's easier and I don't want to be biased. So I'm just going to start with the cons, and I'm going to have the timestamps in the description below so that you could click around if you want to, and I'm going to do a summary at the end. These are in no specific order, but I will say the first one is con number one: family, friends, your relationships back home, all that stuff. Unless you get stationed in your home state or hometown or something, you may not really interact with your family as much as you think. Like, I think the longest I've gone when I was talking to my family was almost like 2 years old. I did talk to them, like texting, like phone call, stuff like that, but without actually seeing them. It was almost 2 years, and during that 2 years time, like when you're out to sea, you have limited contact. Being in Japan, the time zones are weird, so it's like sometimes they'll call and like I'm working, or I'll call and they're sleeping, so it just makes stuff a little bit like harder to maintain those relationships. The second con, this is something that a lot of people don't really talk about, which is weird, but the UCMJ. So I'm not saying the UCMJ is a bad thing, because like there are a lot of good things in the UCMJ and stuff, but I feel like civilians do not understand the UCMJ, and it's something that I kind of understood before I joined, but I didn't really know like the, I guess, weight of it. In a regular lifestyle, like civilian, whatever, you have laws and you have like whatever your ethics and your morals and stuff. In the military, your morals aren't really the same. Like, you still have a level of ethics, but your morals are a little bit different. And you have the regular law, the military law, and then all of that stuff gets filtered down even more depending on your command, depending on like your chief, all this stuff. They add rules on top of the rules that already exist. So it's like, it takes away some of your individualism, it takes away some of your personality. Like in the military, you can get in trouble for dyeing your hair the wrong color, or getting a piercing, or this and that. And it's not like you're getting in trouble like, oh, you're gonna get yelled at. It's like you could like literally get your pay taken away. You could end up on restrictions and be stuck on your base or on your ship for 30 days, 45 days. You could even go to captain's mast and end up getting kicked out for some of these things. And it's like, yeah, in a regular job, there's things that you can't do, and there's just like regular rules that you have to follow and policies, but they're not to the level of where it affects you the way that UCMJ will affect you. And I'll say the third thing, this is gonna be my last con. This kind of goes with the UCMJ, kind of, and with the family stuff. It's like, you can't just wake up one day and be like, I don't want to do this. Like, you are contracted, this is your job, this is your lifestyle. You're a sailor, marine, soldier, whatever, 24/7. Like, this is you. The only way to really possibly get out is like if you have a medical issue, if you do something messed up and get kicked out, but you may not get an honorable discharge, and that could leave you worse off than just doing your contract. So it's like, unlike a regular job where you could just wake up one day and be like, you know what, I don't like my boss, like I'm not showing up, or I'm getting another job. You are stuck. If you don't like your chain of command, if you don't like your officers, your chiefs, your captain, whatever, you're stuck there. You have to follow whatever they say. And you could throw your opinion in, obviously, but at the end of the day, they're your boss, and you have to listen to whatever they say. You have to show up every day, even if you don't want to. You could be off doing whatever, you get called in, you gotta show up, and it sucks. So now I'm going to talk about the pros. The number one pro that everybody says is really the benefits. You have pretty much guaranteed pay. You have housing allowances, food allowances, clothing allowances. You have all these allowances. So it's like the pay isn't the most amazing thing ever. Like, I calculated as an E5, I'm making, even with all my allowances and stuff, maybe like 60K, which, I mean, it's not the worst, but it's not the best, right? But the pay allows you to have that freedom, because you know no matter what, your housing, certain things are getting paid for. So your paycheck is kind of like play money in some ways, because your basic necessities are covered. You also have healthcare. Healthcare in the military is cheaper, but it's not free. They still take it out your paycheck. So when people say it's free healthcare, it is not free healthcare. You still get charged something, but it is a lot cheaper than regular healthcare, and you do have a lot of access, a lot of medical centers. Even if you're not near a base, they still cover stuff. You have medicine and a lot of resources. It's not necessarily the best medical, as you can see by all the memes and all the other stuff, but it gets the job done at the end of the day. Along with the benefits, you also get like the free training, free, like you get to travel and stuff. All that is kind of just thrown in with the military package, and all that is kind of just thrown in with the military benefits, because you don't have to pay for that stuff, and it just comes with your contract. Whatever your job is, they train you for that, and you could request more schools, more stuff, and they just give it to you. You don't have to pay for it. And on top of that, you get a military discount at almost every store. If you go to the mall and you're like, hey, you guys do military discount? Like Adidas, they gave me like 30% off. Nike does a military discount. You could get military discounts online. My Apple Music has a military discount. There's like all these random discounts that you get for being in the military or being a veteran, which is pretty cool. My second thing is probably the people you meet. I've met some of my closest friends in the military, people that I never thought I would meet in my life. And it's kind of cool, the relationship you develop with these people when you're stuck on deployments and these are the only people you have to talk to, or even when you're in school and like you all are kind of trying to figure out how to pass this class, how to do this, how to do that, and have like duty, have all these things, like teaching each other shortcuts, all this stuff, which I feel like in a regular work environment you have some of that, but it's not to the same level as the military, where it's like this person's life is in my hands and my life is in their hands, and there's a different level of trust. Third pro, I would say, is the discipline and the mentality you get. I just feel like it's a good life skill to have, and a lot of people don't. Like I meet people that's like in their 30s and I'm more disciplined than them, and I feel like the military has a lot to do with that, and that impacts your career, how you are as a person, your hygiene, all that stuff, because you're kind of forced to be this person in the military. And there are people with bad hygiene and certain things in the military, but it's like you can literally get in trouble for like not brushing your teeth or something. You can get in trouble for not cleaning your room if you live in the barracks or something. Somebody will come inspect you and you get in trouble. You could get kicked out your room for that. That doesn't happen in the regular world. You don't have your manager showing up at your house, checking out your house to see what's going on. So it's like you kind of develop these skills and discipline levels and like efficiency levels at certain things that just makes other stuff outside of the military easier. Like I learned how to clean really efficiently in the military, because being in the military, like half of your job is being a janitor. So I learned how to clean really, really well, and it's like I could clean my entire room in like maybe 30 minutes and it'll look spotless. So that is just a general overview of like some of my pros and cons, but I will say in summary, the military is not for everyone. I will say if you are a younger person and you don't know what to do and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want student loans, I don't want to do this, like I want to move away from my hometown, stuff like that, maybe it is for you. Maybe try it out, do a contract, see how you feel. But if you're already in a career field or if you're established, it may not be the best choice to just leave your comforts and do something like the military, where you will feel like you're trapped or you have lost a lot of your freedoms. Or if you're a person that doesn't really take criticism or commands and stuff like very like easily, because there's a lot of criticism, there's a lot of people throwing their 2 cents in, there's a lot of random aimless tasks and commands that you're given and you're like, why am I doing this? If you're a person that does not like that stuff, you will hate the military for sure. If you're a person that likes to express yourself and have like certain levels of like freedom and stuff, it's not like, there's ways to express yourself, but you're not gonna have the full freedom you want. And those are just some of the things that I would like think about before joining. It's really not for everyone, and I would assume if you're watching this video you're already doing some research, but really figure out if you want to take on that lifestyle. I'm not saying the military sucks. like overall, like it's not that bad, but you do give up a lot of comforts and freedoms to do this, and only like 1% of the country actually takes on this challenge, and it is a challenge at the end of the day. So it really depends on your personality and what type of lifestyle you want to have. But if you do decide to do it and take on the challenge, and you want to like maybe do it as a stepping stone or just like a booster to get to like where you want to be, I will say personally, I think doing more than one contract, if you do not plan to retire or do like 20 years plus, is kind of pointless, because if you do one contract, you get all your benefits, you get your GI Bill, you get all your VA stuff for the most part for one contract. And then if you do the retirement route, you get all the other retirement benefits. But all that time in between, if you are just using the military as like, I want to try this out and I want to do something else at the end of the day, doing 10 years kind of puts you in a position where you just used whatever amount of time between like your first contract and when you get out, as like maybe you saved, maybe you did something to better yourself, but still like you're not getting any added benefits outside of the paycheck and whatever personal thing you may have, if you have something personal outside the paycheck, to really be there. So I would say personally, I think one contract and getting out is the best route if you're just doing it as a, I want to better my career chances and I want to like experience this, but I know it's not for me, or like I don't know if I want to do this or not. Some people say doing multiple contracts will help you understand if you really want to do this or not, but I realize I've met a lot of people that kind of made it to the 12-year mark or the 15-year mark, and they're like, dang, I don't want to be here, but they already are too deep in that they're kind of just stuck, or they end up leaving and it's like they regret that extra 6 years, however long, because you could have been doing something on the civilian side for 6 years and been further now, because you're still going to get out with that same benefit you would have got out 6-7 years ago. So that's just some food for thought. And with that being said, just like I said in my last video, I am still working on this podcast to show more like perspective and insight on different branches. I've already done one interview, I'm editing it now. I'm working on a second interview, so I'm gonna start uploading them probably in the next couple weeks. And I think it'll be cool. You guys could actually like really hear out people's sacrifices, what they did, how they like it, if they want to stay in, if they don't want to stay in, why, because everybody has a different opinion, everybody has a different perspective, and it just like shares all that. But let me know down in the comments if you have anything that you want to correct me on, that you feel like I was wrong about, or your opinion, if you're planning to join, if you already have signed a contract, if you're shipping out soon, and leave a like if you thought this was informative, and subscribe for more.